Hello everybody and welcome to round 13 of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan Oval Series here live on RaceSpotTV. We are just 2 rounds away from the playoffs here tonight at Darlington, and in 2 weeks time I should say, at Daytona, we will decide the 15 drivers who will be going forward into the playoffs with a chance to win this championship through 2024-25. My name's Ewan O'Leary, no Cam Roger alongside me tonight. Unfortunately, he is feeling a bit under the weather, so Lorenzo Bonda will be joining me in a few moments' time for commentary on this RaceSpotTV broadcast here live from Darlington at Raceway. We've got 152 laps ahead of us over this 2.2 kilometre circuit to bring us to the end of the regular season. This time out, and then in 2 weeks' time, Daytona for 100 more laps to decide the playoff drivers. As you can see, round of 15 starts on the 13th of March, which is exactly 1 month today. Let's have a look at the drivers who are already locked in and those who are trying to get in as well. Jesper Eriksson is obviously into the playoffs. As you can see, it's win and you're in, and as you can see, 9 drivers have taken at least 1 win so far, and all of them are inside the top 30 as well, I should add. Dominic Sawicki is 30th, so if he wants to make the playoffs, then he is going to have to cling on. Kenneth Tier might be hoping that he doesn't, because that would promote him above that cut line you can see, which he's currently below by 13 points. Just below Marcus Stiller. There's a lot to work out and a lot to think about here in this stage of the season. We'll keep you up to date on it through the next 2 rounds of this championship. Yeah, we're very much looking forward to it. This is the race for Örebro, 333, by the way, 333 here at Darlington Motor Speedway, 152 laps, and the race, of course, named following last week's shooting at a school in Sweden. So thoughts go out to those people affected, of course. It is, as I say, 152 laps with the stage on lap 65, which is about the length of time you can go on fuel in these cars as well. Alexander Aurelson, meanwhile, has taken the fastest time for the moment with a 29.9, just ahead of Eric Blix, and actually just over a tenth ahead of Eric Blix right now, which is pretty impressive considering it's an oval, and it's very rare you see big time gaps in qualifying quite like that. In fact, there's only 23 drivers within a second of the pole position, although I do believe there are still some times to yet to come in just for the moment. As I mentioned earlier on, drivers we're really going to be focusing on around those that playoff cut line going to be Edwin Forsen, Cedric Hornbaum, Marcus Stiller, Kenneth Tiers around there, Tony Uvenen, Eric Lundberg. They're all in and around there, and have the chance maybe to take this enough points to make themselves into, or get themselves into, the playoffs for season 2024-25. Let's have a look at the starting grid as we make our way towards the beginning of this race. Alexander Aurelson leading the way ahead of Eric Blix on the front row. Jesper Eriksson, 4 wins for him this season, starting from 3rd this time round alongside Oscar Fredriksson. Edwin Forsen and Kenneth Tier are on row 3. Great qualifying at the right moment there for Kenneth Tier, certainly. Sebastian Chudamo and Oliver Bohlin are on row 4 ahead of Dan Holmer and Dylan Platt. Peter Helmbro and Linus Broström are on row 6. Tony Uvenen and Jonas Leppert are next ahead of Joe Wallin and Lucas Holmerin. It's Cedric Hornbaum and Jonas Gunnarsson rounding off row 9. Marcus Hagman and Daniel Solo round out the top 20. Solo needs to be in the top 30 in points, by the way, and he's doing a decent job of getting there at the moment with his win. Robert Eriksson is 21st ahead of Oscar Motin with Ante Bratberg and Bjorn Broström on row 12. Then you get to those who haven't set times. Jonas Skoglund, Hackenschott, Christopher Dahlström, Patrick Pfeffer, Marcus Stiller, as always, not qualifying. Thomas Kinnell and Dan Peoples rounding out the 31 drivers in the race. Drivers will be getting themselves onto pit lane. Very good afternoon to Lorenzo Bonda, who has now joined me in the commentary box. Alongside myself, Ewan O'Leary, here for tonight's race at Darlington. It is going to be another race of high tyre wear, Lorenzo, and getting as close as possible to that wall and maybe scraping it at times as well.
No, basically the scraping of the wall is existent, you know, it's always going to happen. Not going to give you more speed though, Ewan, I can tell you that for sure. But Darlington, always a close contact race of sorts, because they kind of have to ride the high line of sorts. So it's going to be a race where the nerves are going to be, what can I say best, put to test in here.
Absolutely. We've got also the regular season championship on the line here tonight, by the way, as well. Jesper Eriksson is getting quite close to clinching that. If he finishes in the top 19, he will be the regular season champion, subject, of course, to stage points, which go on here today as well. Linus Broström needs to outscore Jesper by at least 23 points to secure those 15 extra playoff points. And Jesper Eriksson, by the way, already has 23 playoff points to go with the next best, which is just 6 for Linus Broström. So it's a big day, and he needs to gain some points to Broström. But at this stage in the season, for a lot of these drivers, Lorenzo, it's going to be about winning. We've got Darlington and Daytona before we get to the playoffs. Win and you're in, as long as you're in the top 30. Most of the drivers on this grid are in the top 30, and so a race win tonight would guarantee them a place in that round of 15.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only win, you basically in, but you got to assert yourself with most points possible when you go into playoffs, because you might have like multiple winners in the playoffs, and even then we can see drivers that have not a win and get into the final spots, right? So it's every man for itself. All hell is going to break loose. So every driver got to have that mindset that it's all or nothing right now at this point.
It certainly is. What a time to be following this series. The exciting part of the season for sure. Round 13 at the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan Oval Series here in the Xfinity machines. It's the race for Örebro here at Darlington. 333 kilometres over the course of 152 laps, ready to get underway. Green flags in hand from the starter stand, and we are racing here at Darlington. A very good start from Eriksson. He's been pushed really well, actually, on that second row in towards turn number 1, and he will take the lead initially. He'll actually take the racing line through turns 1 and 2 as well. Then they run up high next to the wall. It's Eriksson who converts pole position to an early race lead.
Yeah, but then again, it's like one thing I've noticed historically at Darlington, you're going to get close runs. So these 2-3 of a second gaps between the drivers early on kind of dictates how the race go forward. If people really want to be aggressive with the tires early, so early in the stint. One thing I know about Darlington, you need to manage the tires. You said high tire wear, just like the last round, which was in a flatter track. This one, because of the high banking and the high degree of angle of the turn-in of the cars, despite being the higher banking of Darlington of sorts, makes sure this car gets more loose on the rear end as the run goes on.
Battle for the lead. Jesper Eriksson having a look up the inside of the way towards turn 1, but no, can't quite do it for the moment. And he has to stay behind Alexander Eriksson, who, by the way, does have also a win to his name. He's third in the regular season point standings, which, as I mentioned, it does play for playoff points. Kenneth Tier has dropped back a little bit early on here. He's down to 9th in the 49 car. We'll monitor him throughout the day as there's contact for the lead. And Harrison's up into the wall. Eriksson got straight into the back of the 24 car. Alexander Eriksson couldn't hang on, and he went straight into the outside wall there. That was unintentional from Eriksson, but very early aggression from the championship leader. Eric Blix also gets through in the 95. But Alexander Eriksson scrapes along the wall. He'll be shaken up by that.
Yeah, and somehow, some way, we're still green flag. And this is the nature of Darlington, racing so close to someone else, especially coming into the turn 1 entry and turn 3 entry, which kind of make the cars have a little bit of door-to-door contact or quarter panel-to-quarter panel contact. And unfortunately, that happened in the case. Of course, in that sentence. But fortunately for all, we're still green. Everybody's still running.
We have, by the way, had I'm not sure you probably won't be aware of this one. So we've had a yellow flag within 0 laps of a green flag, at least for one run of every race since the start of November. So I'm glad that we've got off to a good start here with an early run of at least 5 laps here. But yeah, a green flag run of less than a lap at least once every race since Indianapolis Road Course, which of course didn't have any cautions for obvious reasons. That's a record that hopefully we can break here tonight at Darlington. Another thing that's been actually quite common is the short green flag runs to begin with. Although, to be fair, you only have to think about all the way back to Nashville and 2 rounds ago. The last time we got a nice opening to that race, a decent opening to the race anyway. But the last 2 weeks, anyway, the last 2 rounds, we've had pretty short opening runs. Here comes, meanwhile, Fredriksson down the inside of Alexander Ericsson, who I wonder is just maybe struggling with a bit of damage now as a result of hitting the wall through 3 and 4. Off the corner, they come off of 2. That's a big squeeze of contact. Oh, goodness. Ericsson went straight into the side of Oscar Fredriksson there, who's been spun on the back straight, and caution comes out.
Not surprisingly so, the caution would come out right there with the T-bone spin and right on the backstretch, and that's like the nature of Darlington when it comes side by side. That wall comes up so suddenly in front of you on the backstretch that the car gets to get together basically quarter panel to quarter panel. We're gonna look on the replay, even though the 24 looked like to be a little bit more set on the exit of the corner.
Now then, did Ericsson spin Fredriksson on purpose here, if you like, or did he just bounce off the wall? I think he's probably going to be given the benefit of the doubt there, but it's not unreasonable to suggest that Ericsson's just pretty furious with the opening part of the race and how it's gone for him, and he's taking it out on somebody there. Not trying to suggest that that is what happened, but he could be forgiven for thinking that for sure, because, yeah, he's certainly very unhappy with how this race has gone so far. Let's have a look at it from the onboard. You can see Fredriksson, he's been carted into the wall there, to be fair, Ericsson, and I think he does respond by spinning Fredriksson.
Looking properly again on the replay. I don't know if that's, you could argue basically that's like taking it out on someone, because the car comes out as soon as you touch on the wall, right? And as soon as you touch on the wall, especially with the rear end of the car, which looked like to be on the 24 of our Ericsson, you really don't want to try to do corrections with the steering wheel, otherwise the car is going to get loose. So what happened to the 112 as soon as he came out of the corner post contact? So that's a little bit unfortunate, but basically triggers the first pit for everybody, despite not the entirety of the grid coming in.
Yep, only 8 drivers coming in. Actually, Magnus Hagman only drove down pit lane for some reason, but anyway. Linus Broström came in, so did Oscar Fredriksson. I guess damage as well for him. Daniel Solo, Robert Eriksson, Anton Brackberg, Jonas Skoglund, Hagenschott, and Alexander Ericsson's getting some long repairs on pit lane, so he will be getting as much as he can repaired before the field comes back round again to go back green again for lap number 11. But a lively start to this race for sure. Jesper Eriksson getting into the lead in an unusual manner, I've got to say, with contact on the way towards turn 3. And unfortunately, Polster to Eriksson in pit lane for over a minute now. This is a day where Eriksson needs to stay close to Linus Broström to have a chance at the 10 playoff points you get for finishing second in the regular season points. This is really going to hurt Eriksson here for regular season points, because he's only 9 ahead of Oliver Wallin, who's currently running in 4th place. And just because of the playoff system doesn't mean that points don't matter in the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of funny, the scoring system, right, where you say it doesn't matter in the regular season. Well, every points matter. It's just because in the playoffs, because it is short, it isn't as big as the regular season, then the points really go into the meaning of the points do truly matter there. So despite everybody in the top basically being the top 30, as we're potentially going to get our first restart of the race really soon, if not on this lap.
It looks like it will be this lap round, so we'll get back going again after caution number 1 of the day. By the way, Eriksson was involved in the last caution at New Hampshire as well. That's 2 in a row for him now. He was the victim last time round. It seems that he might have been the perpetrator this time around. He is still on the lead lap though, down at the back, as are all of the other 30 competitors in the field. The green flag waves again here at Darlington. We're back underway for restart number 1, and Jesper Eriksson takes the lead rather nicely in towards the corner. Edwin Forsund, IndyCar Series champion, looks down the inside through 1 and 2. He's going to go nowhere. Eric Blix and Oliver Wallin right round the outside, and that moves Wallin up to 3rd place as he tries to move himself in the championship up into 3rd position. Clean start though through turn 1 and 2 for everybody. Now hopefully they can settle into a second green flag run of the afternoon.
Absolutely, and you can see there's a little bit of a breakaway from Eriksson early on Blix. Then Blix is, I think, mentality has to be, do not try to overdrive the car, just let the stint go on. We know this can go for long, since I think there's a car contact to 021.
Oh, there is.
Around.
The 33's around, and only 1 lap after we went green, we are back under caution again. That is a shame to see, I'm afraid, for this 33 car. That's Jonas Gunnarsson, who's at the wheel of this one here tonight. Didn't pit under the caution, but he was fairly further towards the back, where some of those guys on new tyres would have been coming up. Not sure who made the initial contact with him there, but Gunnarsson certainly didn't have anything to do with it.
Trying to look which car is that actually made contact with 33. Luckily for him though, he got away and skate. That's the 43.
43.
Yeah. So
it's Joe Bohlin.
Yeah. So you can kind of see the car basically diving in on the inside. That's the problem of turn number 1 at Darlington. It's a high commitment corner because you kind of have to take the low stretch and you migrate into the high banking part of the track, so you can stay closest to the wall, but also retain a lot of speed. And going side by side, it's easy to misjudge a few miles per hour when you're coming into the corner. I think that was the case for Bohlin right there when he made the corner and unfortunately got into the contact with the number 33.
Unfortunately, he got involved in a couple of cautions last time out in New Hampshire, Joe Bohlin, although he was the one spun around on both occasions. This time round, he's the one who gets into Jonas Gunnarsson on that occasion, which is a real shame for him. So back under caution for the second time tonight. 152 laps here at Darlington Motor Speedway, or Darlington Raceway, I should say. There's Lucas Holmgren, who we haven't seen very much of this season at all. Lucas Holmgren has only been at one round so far, puts him 51st in the point standings. He's not going to be a feature in the playoffs, but a nice result for him tonight would be positive, would be what he's aiming for sure. He's in the bright light green in the 021, easy to spot out, which is good for us. Did anybody pit this time round? The answer is yes. Hakan Schott came in for a normal 2-tyre stop. Alexander Outzen and Jonas Gunnarsson are in to repair damage. And this is the thing about these cautions, is that you can come in and repair damage, and it all sounds great, but actually you only get stopped for less than a minute or so before you have to go back out onto the circuit again, before you get lapped. So Outzen and Gunnarsson are going to have a long time here to try and or need a lot of stops, I should say, to try and get this damage repaired, which is not going to be easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, but then again, I think one of the things about Darlington, historically speaking, I don't know if it's going to be the case today, but commentating on it, not just on the NIS Open and NIS Fixed, and we commented, I think, even this on the Darlington 500 here at RaceSpot. Is this track usually is a yellow breed yellow type of track, right? So that's the caution I think drivers need to get, especially at the back, where usually it's going to get more feisty. So let's see if the second restart is going to basically prompt another yellow early on, or if it's going to be a long green run.
Absolutely. We haven't had a green flag run of over 100 kilometres since the start of the race or the end of Nashville to the start of the start of Nashville to the end of Charlotte, I should say. It's been a long time since we've had a long run. Let's hope that this will be one of them. 15 laps complete in the race for Örebro, and we are back under green flag racing again here at Darlington. It is Ericsson, Blix, Bohlin, Forsand, the top four again, getting into single file, but it isn't the leaders that you need to particularly worry about. These guys are getting organised pretty quickly. It's the action going on back there in the midfield, although this time they're a little bit more single file. Maybe the drivers also wanting a green flag run to get this race started with now.
Yeah, absolutely, but you can see drivers already trying to find the inside line. You can see Holmgren trying to find himself onto the high line, try to ride some draft, but number 50 in front of him, which is Johannes Leppert, just trying to find space, break away from the draft as well, because you're under dirty air, the engine temperature is going to increase a little bit more, but of course the tire wear is going to be a little bit more as well as the run goes on. So people just need to take it cautiously, just I would say 2, 3, 4, 5 laps max, then I think they can go racing a little bit more side by side.
And there you can see in the top 20, pretty much all single file. side-by-side going on between Ericsson and Skoglund further back. Despite the fact he's obviously got damage in that 24 car, Alexander Ericsson does look like he's going pretty quickly at the moment. At least he's making his way through the field anyway. He's just back there in the background, in the white. See him getting past Bratberg in the 111. Christopher Dahlstrand, unfortunately, has retired from the race early on here. Don't believe he's been involved in either of the cautions, so not entirely sure for the reason of retirement for him, but it looks like he is going to be our first, which is a big shame for him. As meanwhile, those who pitted under the first caution are working their way through. This is Daniel Solo in the 13 car, up to 16th place already here, just showing that even 2 tyres, after not very much green running, does make a bit of a difference.
Yeah, this is a track where grips makes all the difference, especially like I always say, late runs in Darlington, especially if you don't overdrive the rear ride is going to work like a charm. And you can see already Bohlin try to go on the inside again, trying to find a little bit of room, maybe just stay on a side-by-side, but cannot go there. And Solo has to kind of like follow suit. He's still remaining in 16th place.
Side by side in towards the top 10 here. Tony Uvinen looking for points as he tries to make the playoffs here. Started the day 24 points below the cut line with Marcus Stiller. Although with Dominic Sawicki out of the playoff picture after this race, he'll only be 11 points behind Kenneth Tier, and that will be the cut line. So this is a very important battle. Uvinen needs to get onto the back of Tier and needs to make sure that the likes of Jonas Leppert, who's right behind him at the moment, doesn't try and come through here. But this is playoff racing. This is end of regular season racing. This is why it's so exciting. Tony Uvinen holding on to a top 10 at the moment, and he's battling with drivers who are not involved in the playoffs at all, but are directly affecting them by battling with these guys.
Absolutely, and the one thing you really don't want to get yourself involved into is just issues early on, especially if you're battling for points. We saw that with right down at the back. You said Aditson when he had issues early on, and he was needing some points to go into the playoffs a little bit more relaxed. So I wonder how the other drivers, especially in the mid pack, who are still looking for points to, be in contentious, in a more contentious position for the playoffs, are looking like in terms of nervousness or anxiety of sorts to be as closest to the top 10 as you can be.
Yep, absolutely on board with Kenneth Tier here in 9th place. If the race was to end right now, he'd gained just the one singular point over Tony Uvinen, just make himself slightly more comfortable going into those final rounds. Lundberg at the moment is the next closest challenger. He is not in this race at the moment, unfortunately, and so he will be dropping away. It's going to be between Tier and Uvinen by the looks of things. Try and work out. And the great thing as well about this this series is that, and indeed NASCAR in real life has said, oh dear, we'll get back to that. Caution's flying, and there's a big crash at turn 3 and 4. There's clearly been some previous hit. Daniel Solo's been hit in the rear. Jonas Leppert's been in the outside wall. We're under caution again here on lap number 24. That was a big mess in towards turn 3. We'll get to the bottom of quite what happened.
Yeah, and Solo's car looks to be, I don't want to say broken, maybe on one of the axles with that back hit, and the car may be getting into hydraulics mode, but I wonder what causes yellow flag, because that was basically off camera for us.
Yeah, it was basically, but there was a big mess going on by the end of it. So Kinnell, I think that is, finds himself in the outside wall in the 14 car and locks it up. Thomas Kinnell. So that's where it starts, off of turn 2. Thankfully, he's avoided by everybody because he came to a dead stop there, didn't really know where to go. He got back going again eventually, but there was clearly some afterwards with the likes of Jonas Leppert, etc., who went straight on into the outside wall, and now we've really got pit stops here. This has been a long enough green flag run for the drivers to think that pit stopping is worth it now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some drivers are going to come in, but you can see the confusion between the 3 to 9 and Solo, but that was a little bit weird for us to take a look on. I don't know if the yellow flag was triggered on at that moment, which caused confusion for the drivers of, you know, try to slow down. And unfortunately, those contacts kind of happened as a collateral of sorts. As I was looking, some drivers, especially at the back, starting from Jonas Skoglund and all the way at the back, doing pit stops.
Who is going to be left at the end? It looks like Dan Pepples has given up the ghost hit, but yeah, loads of drivers getting damage repairs this time round, which is something you don't often see. Ericsson again, Leppit, who we just saw, Goodison, who was involved in caution number 2, Janu Solo involved in this previous one. We just saw Thomas Kinnell, Joe Bohlin was involved in the in caution number 2, not 3, which this is. Bjorn Broström also in pit lane. As the drivers get too wide again, there really isn't very much time to get yourself these repairs done, and it looks like Solo, Kinnell, Peppels, Wallin and Broström will all fall off the lead lap as a result of this last caution here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one, but the good thing is there's still a lot of race for us to go on. We're barely into lap 28, yellow flag. I think we haven't got, of course, we haven't got a really real green flag at this track because of the attrition rate is being so high over here. But that, of sorts, kind of like expected. I've been talking about this. Is a little bit, it's more than expected for Darlington. This is one of those tracks, kind of like looks like a death bowl of sorts because how close the cars run, and always kind of touching themselves, especially going side by side, and in here the backstretch as well is one of those things. So eventually I would say, if I have to bet, maybe around lap 40 of sorts is where we can start to see maybe a true green flag run. Maybe, who knows, this green flag as well.
You just never know here at Darlington. As at the start of lap number 28, a noticeably smaller field makes its way to the start line again for the restart in this race for Örebro. Here we go in towards turn number 1. Jesper Eriksson continues in the lead. Blix gets to second, Wallin gets to third, Forsen holds on to fourth. It's a similar story at the front of the field. What about for fifth place? Tidamo's on the inside of Dan Holmer here, who squeezed out just slightly there. And have a look at this, Peter Halbro looks up the inside on the way towards turn 3 as well.
And I think that's the 79 having lots of vicious Homer, just overcoming into the corner, didn't skid off the tires, which is a good thing. You really want to burn up the rears early on, especially on your restart lap. And unfortunately for him, surviving the whole ordeal, and now Ericsson, for the first time in this race, facing lots of pressure from Blixt. Yeah, we are not even halfway towards the stage just yet, as Eric Blixt is now trying to go for the lead in towards 3 and 4. Do you want to be on the slightly lower line here through this section of corners, or is it just about holding the outside here for Ericsson and he'll hold on to the lead? Well, yes, he will for the moment. Now Wallin will get on the outside, and he just tries to squeeze in there, Eric Blix. He didn't want to lose second place. He knows how important the outside line is. He's scraping the wall almost through turn 1 there. Scraping it just about, now out of the corner. Can he maybe get down the inside of Ericsson? Doesn't quite look like it. Wallin and Forsen just in behind as well. This is very, very close between these 4 drivers battling for the lead. Probably the most fierce battle for the lead we've seen all day so far. Absolutely, and that opened the door for Forsen to go on the inside and now go for third on Oliver Bohlin. And so far, the 72 retained the position for now. Oh, back to you.
In towards turn number 1 and 2. Blix takes the lead ahead of Jesper Eriksson. Wallin and Forsen battle away for third as well, but a change for the lead. First lap's led of the afternoon now for Eric Blix. Now then, oh dear, that's why it looked so... now then, this is under the caution, so that's part of why there were so many drivers down pit lane. That's Linus Broström, who's going for the regular season championship, by the way, who was one of those spun round. That was very awkward towards turn 3.
Yeah. Like our fellow comrade Lewis McGlade would say, suboptimal, quoting his famous words.
Very suboptimal indeed for those involved down there. Down the inside, meanwhile, is for 15th place goes Marcus Hagman, just ahead of Anton Brattberg. And that's a good pass from him. Only now 24 on the lead lap, and I've got to say it does feel a lot quieter than it did not that long ago. Oh, into the outside wall goes Brattberg. He holds on to the car just about, but he's going to be overtaken here. Marcus Stiller goes down the inside. Patrick Pfeffer as well, who's in the running for the championship and running for the playoffs. Sebastian Tinamo drops back a couple of positions as well here, by the way, down to 9th. As the battle for the lead has gone away, Ericsson's the one under pressure all of a sudden, a lot of pressure.
I don't know if Ericsson kind of like overburned the tires a little bit more than usual at the early portion of his stint to try to break away from Blix, but got a little bit sidetracked with the fact that we got so many yellow flags early on that Blix just said, you know, just manage my tires up until now, and then open myself a little bit of room before the stage is over, so we can actually get that P1 and then start the breakaway. Because you can see the breakaway effect right now is major. Gap is more than 7/10 of a second between them. So it's interesting how Blix's restart has been.
Peter Halbrook down the inside in towards turn 2 and gets through on Holmer. That's for 6th position in the pack. Just in behind them is Kenneth Tiert, who's now 8th in the field. Tony Uvenen just in 11th place. So those two fighting for the playoffs, going the way of the 49 car just for the moment. As things stand, he would be above the cut line here at the end of the day. He's 24 points off Marcus Stiller, is Uvenen. Stiller is down in 13th place. That's only a few positions further behind Tony Uvenen at the moment. So certainly some points still need to be gained as Linus Broström gets very high here through 3 and 4. Now then, down the straight, excuse me, this is the 72 car of Oliver Wallin, excuse me. Edwin Forsand heads his way down the inside and through on Wallin. Dylan Platt clutches up to them as well. That's the first time we've seen someone from outside the top 4 actually joining these guys, really.
Always up for some good battles in the top 5. Not going to complain about that. But one thing I've been noticing, I don't know if you noticed that from Ericsson's line while I go back to you.
Well, meanwhile, down the inside, and that looks like a pretty simple pass down the inside, to be honest, on Oliver Wallin. In towards turn 1, through he goes up into 4th position here on lap 38 of this race. The cars, by the way, can go about 65 laps on fuel. They'll probably be able to go further because of the cautions, but will they want to, since the tyre wear right now does seem fairly significant? Eric Blix at the front of the race is a 1.5 seconds off of his best time at the moment.
Yeah, and not only that, but one thing I've been noticing is I think that caught my eye. Ericsson's rear, as soon as he's coming out of the backstretch, it looks like to be a little bit squiggly, as there's another move from Dylan Platt. I think, is that 2 moves in 2 laps?
Yeah.
Done. So, oh, wow, that's a good way for you to go up the standings, going from P3 in 2 laps.
Well, I'll tell you why. That's the new tyre advantage. His tyres are only 13 laps old. Everybody else's are getting on 40 laps. So this is exactly what everyone's thinking about for the end of the race. I think some of these guys out front probably knew this might happen, but they're holding tyres back for later. You only get 4 tyre sets here for this race, and that means you've got to manage them throughout the day. And I think Dylan Platt might have got a bit early. He can only make 3 pit stops effectively in this race. He's already made 1. He's put Ericsson under pressure, and now he's going for 2nd.
And that's, I'm going to be honest, I think that's the 2nd or 3rd time I've seen Ericsson hit the wall in this stint with that kind of tire, especially on this restart stint. He's struggling quite a lot with this second half of stint of tires that he has on his car.
I would myself want to split the race and get to that 50, to be honest, before making a pit stop.
Same. I agree.
Yeah. You know, if there's a caution late on, surely Dylan Platt's going to have nowhere to go now. You know, it's very difficult to chew through your tyres so quickly like that. But anyway, Platt is going to go for the lead here, and he's going to get it as well. He's put his technical issues from 2 weeks ago at New Hampshire behind him, whereas I think his I'm exaggerating. I think his PC exploded. Something certainly went wrong for his PC, and unfortunately that meant that he was out of the day pretty early on, but he's going to lead some laps here this afternoon by the looks of it. In towards turn 3 and 4 they come. Right now, here comes Peter Helmbro as well in the 77 car. He's also up there now. He's up 6 places so far as Dylan Platt gets to the lead down the inside. He is through. Look who's coming up from the back as well here. Peter Peter Helbro and Tony Uvernen as well in the 84 car. He's on new tyres as well here, making his way well inside the top 10 now.
Yeah, he's catching them. He's flying. The last lap was a 31.5 to Uvernen, where Forslund and Helmbro basically did it 31.9 to 31.7. So it's a matter of when and where Uvernen is going to catch them up. If they haven't catched them already, there you go. Hello there. I don't know how you say that in Swedish, but definitely Uvernen is going to be the one favorite to make those overtakes in a little bit.
This is going to be a very different look to the order in a few moments' time. Some of these guys who haven't pitted yet are sort of banking on getting to the stage and then pitting in. But I don't know if any of them are going to be in the top 10 by the end here. Round the outside here of one of the lap cars, they all come now for third place. Jesper Eriksson under a lot of pressure from Helmbro, who, by the way, hasn't been in himself. He's just flying at the moment. And Eriksson's under real pressure here. He's in the outside wall through 3 and 4. Series leader Jesper Eriksson is under pressure in a very big way. These tyres are falling off in a way that I guess people were expecting, but it is nevertheless still surprising the way that this is going right now. Dylan Platt leads by a second, and Jesper Eriksson, series leader, under pressure.
Yeah, their ears must be screaming for agony with the way that the driving is going on. I think, and is that nature of, of Darlington not pushing the rear tires, trying to work for the longevity, not to try to be overly aggressive with them. There's a certain line that you kind of have to take, and if you don't follow that,
Eriksson hit by Peter Helbro, smacks the outside wall. He keeps it going, and he's still there. Is Helmbro just going to try and end you out maybe through turn 2? Not quite, but that's a big hit on the wall for the series leader. He's going to be in trouble now.
Yeah, definitely some quarter panel damage on the right-hand side, that's for sure. But more importantly is what the job that Helmbro is actually doing with those tires. He's on the same tire stint as everybody else, so that's something to be counted for.
Wow. Eriksson down to 5th. Tony Uvernen gets through, and this is a big gain for Tony Uvernen, who, as I mentioned before, started the day just 11 points below the cut line, effectively, with Dominik Sawicki not here. He's effectively 11 points below the cut line, and that means he's, at the moment, gaining some of those back again, even before we finish the race, and again he's in the outside wall. Eriksson's really struggling here. Edvin Forsen goes through. Wallin's just in behind him, but he's not going to be the big concern. It's guys like Robert Eriksson, Marcus Stiller, who are on new tyres, that are going to be of real concern to some of these guys, but I guess everyone's a concern now for Eriksson. He's really in trouble with this damage.
Yeah, he's going to suffer. I think he's going to suffer extensively to try to survive until the end of his stint and get back to the pits. But what's surprising me is how hard he's actually falling. More struggles.
Outside wall again. Wallin can't find a way through just yet, as that's not Kenneth Tier coming through. Looks a bit like Joe Wallin to me.
Yeah, it is.
Who's coming through at the moment. Yeah, 18 laps down. No fast repairs in this series, by the way, so you've got to just take your medicine when it comes. Unfortunately, he's dropped 18 laps down. He is on new tyres. Oh, and he very nearly hit Jesper Eriksson there. That was very close. 3 wide now down the back straight very nearly, as Wallin and Eriksson get past Hakan Schott, who's down at the back of the field. He is 1 lap down as well. There goes Wallin up to 6th place. Eriksson's got a queue of cars behind him.
Yeah, he has a train of cars hungry for positions and everything else, trying to go behind them. But you notice something right there, even when you try to go side by side on turn number 3, the way the car was actually responding to his inputs. Car didn't want to go on that inside line, not a chance, but he had to make do, even though he was going a little bit slower, and basically indirectly forming up a little bit of a train of cars behind him.
Holmer, Tier, Holmerin, Tidemo, Hagman, all in the background. Excuse me, not Tidemo, Eriksson. Robert Eriksson in the background there, as Daniel Holmer gets through pretty easily on his teammate. That's not too much of a surprise. But just in the background there, this is going to see Jesper Eriksson out the top 10. And I wouldn't. And by the way, for those who haven't seen the series before, top 10 is only what you get for points at the stage. You can't get any points any further down. So I wonder when/if Eriksson is outside the top 10 here, inside the first stage, whether he might just take a green flag pit stop here.
I think that's what he's thinking. I don't think he's trying to play or pray for a yellow flag. That kind of happens. And that's the way that he actually should have that mindset moving forward. As Tier was looking for a movement going to the apron, even so.
Holmgren looking for a move here as well. And is this Ericsson signaling he's coming to pit lane there by just moving to the left, or maybe he's signaling something else? He's very, very much up high. He's not going to get to pit lane now, even if he wanted to, as we tick less than 100 laps to go here in the race, because Holmgren gets through on the inside line up to 8th place in the lime green. Ericsson tries to fight back on the outside, but again, he's going to struggle out there. Marcus Stiller is trying to come through here alongside the likes of Robert Ericsson as well, who's in this group. Marcus Hagman is at the back end of this as well, as they all run out now. Again, Ericsson, yes, he is coming in. I thought he might be. Now he's coming into pit lane. He realises that top 10 is not going to be possible. And, he needs to make sure he didn't get back on the racetrack. There you go. He knows that a top 10 is not possible. Might as well come in, get a bit of an undercut on some new tyres now.
Yeah, basically that the new Goodyear set of tires are going to give him a lot of speed. The problem is, I wonder how much panel damage that they actually done onto that car to make sure the rear is actually more stable coming into the corners, because some of the hits he actually had on the wall, you can say it's considerable. You'd get like 4 to 5 seconds of repairs each time you did one of those hits. I wonder how much second he actually has on that car.
And is he going to repair any of it now? Since it's clearly not required repairs, is he going to do any of it under green, or is he going to, do it under yellow? Is he just going to persevere with it? Lots of questions to be answered there as we go back to the back end of the top 10 here. Kenneth Tier hoping to hang on for some stage points here, because he knows that Tony Ubernen is hanging on for quite a lot of stage points at the moment. Dylan Platt looks like he's got this stage win sewn up as long as there's no caution. Tony Ubernen is going to get 7 if he finishes where he is. Tier's only going to get 1, so he needs to get down the inside of Stiller, and he's trying to now, coming over the line at the start of lap number 56.
Yeah, but he still has a few ways to try to go around him, and even though Stiller is actually struggling on turn number 3, I think for now Tier just needs to stay composed, drive his line, do not overdrive the car at the entry of turn number 3. Maybe an opening will open for him to shoot that overtake, but it's going to be tough for him to actually get that extra point.
Especially since he's not on new tyres. Where's he going to fall to? Robert Ericsson's on new tyres, though it's only one side. Anton Brattberg as well. Jonas Gunnarsson's on new tyres, 20 laps newer. So, yeah, there's going to be trouble here for Tier to try and even finishing in the top 10. This is all the battle for 8th place, by the way, from Holmgren. Then you can see Stiller in the purple, then Tier in the black and bronze, then Ericsson, then Hagman, then Ericsson in the train, in that order. Hagman in the light blue, followed by Ericsson in the sort of orangey colour, just at the back end of this group. Number 35, Cedric Holmbaum just behind them, comes in as well, by the way, just a few laps short of the stage. There he is. So how many are left who haven't stopped just yet? There is still quite a few, just less than 10, I would say. But there's only now 14 cars on the lead lap. That's another thing you've got to worry about. Ericsson is now way down in 21st, quite a long way, a lap down. He's probably a lap and 3/4 down.
Something like it. And you mentioned about drivers that haven't pitted yet. I actually counted around 10 drivers that still haven't pitted.
Yeah, I've got that as well. I mean, I can absolutely see why, but I just don't think they were anticipating the green flag run that we're getting here. Over 30 laps now, as Eric Blix is in. He doesn't really need stage points. He just needs to try and win the race. And so he's just decided to come in. This will be very telling as to where Jesper Eriksson is. Where's Blix in relation to him? It's going to be very telling indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing we've saw about Blix is he managed to keep well a good management of his tires, especially, like I always say, those rear rights is where the danger kind of like lurks. So I expect Blix to come out ahead of Ericsson, and I'm probably going to be a little bit more bold. I think he's going to be by a good margin.
And there's Ericsson pulling high, by the way. He's a lap down and trying to just stay out of everybody's way at the moment. I think during his pit stops he didn't actually take any tyres, even though he was repairing damage. I don't think he took any tyres this time around, and so he's He's dropping back. Now then, Blix on the pit exit. Where is he in relation to Ericsson? He is still ahead of him by a few seconds. So that's been a success for Blix. He's at least prevented the undercut, which he'll be very pleased about. Can he get back to the lead at some point, though, with 3 laps to go now until the stage? Dylan Platt's leading the way. Peter Halbro, Tony Ivinen and Edwin Forsland are battling over second place, and what a steal it would be for Tony Ivinen here to get 9 stage points and second place at the stage. But no, he's not going to. He's dropping off indeed on the back straight here, dropping off and dropping back to 4th.
I wonder if that was something with Forsland coming into the back stretch, because that looked like to be a little bit off angle. Meanwhile, I think Forsland going on the inside of Halbro for second place.
In towards turn 1. They run round the top again and now off of the corner in towards the back straight. Forsland just dealing with a bit of lap traffic again now in towards turn 3. Then Halbro, then Uvinen just in line here at the end of lap number 64, I think this is, or is it 63? Excuse me, yeah. So 2 to go now. Uvinen with a couple more chances to get past Halbro. He's not on new tyres, Halbro, here, so Uvinen should have the advantage, but can he find a way through here?
Not going to be the case.
Not into 3 and 4 this time. Now then, less than 90 laps to go here in a fantastic green flag run of nearly 30 laps now. The lap of the stage now comes upon us. So at the end of this lap, the points will be awarded. Uvinen is still 4th. That will be 7 points as things stand. And Kenneth Teer still 9th. Dylan Platt, meanwhile, is making his way round towards the end of the lap here. He needs a win and a bit of a miracle to get into the playoffs, to be honest, but a stage win here will delight him for sure. At the end of 65 laps, Dylan Platt wins the first stage in the race for Örebro. The 23 car bouncing back from difficulties 1 week ago at New Hampshire. Meanwhile, Uvinen on the back of Halbro only gets 4th. Where does Teer finish? It looks like he's going to settle for 9th by looks of things. There's Uvinen. He gets 7 points. Does Teer finish up with the 2? It looks like he does. So that is a net gain for those good at maths at home of 5 points for Tony Uvinen to try and overcome the 11 he started the day behind. Marcus Stiller didn't have any. And now the pit stops will really start in earnest.
Yeah, first go is Halbro, basically, you know, just saying, oh, okay, I done my due diligence, got my stage points, let me come in, you know, try to reset the rubber and get myself back on track. I'm interested to see where this Black comes into for the pit lane, because I might think, depending on circumstances, call me a very intricate positive, Mr. Ewan O'Leary, but it could be just one more pit stop. You can basically do this as one more pit stop.
Yeah, very much so. You can get to the end on fuel in that way, for sure. Oh, there's a race into pit lane there. Patrick Pfeffer beaten in by Holmer, who makes his way down the inside. They're a lap apart, by the way, but these pit stops are really going to start now in quite regular fashion. But Dylan Platt will carry on in the lead. Now, Linus Broström in the 71 car's got a bit of damage on the front end. We noted his crash on the early part of the race under caution in the 71 car. He pitted only 13 laps ago. He is actually ahead, though, of... 41 laps ago. He is actually ahead, though, of Jesper Eriksson because of the undercut that has gone on there. He's still a lap down, though. Forsland and Uvinen also come into pit lane now as Dylan Platt carries on. That means that there will only be 5 cars on the lead lap here. Dylan Platt will be trapping a lot of people a lap down now if there's a badly timed caution.
Which would be one of the weirdest things to happen in this league. That's for sure. But I don't think that's going to be the case. There's a car with a Bohlin nearly going off. Interesting to see that happen. But the gap is actually decreasing a little bit from Platt, let's just say, to Ericsson. Ericsson starting to pull some better laps on Platt, but the gap is not that huge. Platt was actually keeping that under the 31s, despite a little bit of traffic.
Through he goes, Dylan Platt on the inside line. We're in the bizarre situation where the race leader might actually get past quite a lot now because of all the pit stops. It is a bizarre situation, but an entertaining one here at the race for Örebro 333. 333 kilometres here at Darlington Raceway for round 13 of the Oval Series. This is Marcus Hagman just on the back of Oliver Bohlin here for second place. Hagman hasn't been in yet either. The fact he's still going on field is a bit of a miracle. Same for Tiller at Tier, and Bohlin, who's up on the high side here. The caution laps will have saved them a bit of fuel. We've had 12 laps under caution so far, so they might be able to go an extra 6, but even so, the fact they've done 71 laps now on fuel is a bit of a miracle, and surely these guys are going to be pitting in pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. But the problem is their pace is not transpiring to see a top-tier pace. They're going to drop several spots back. I think I can see one of the guys coming down. I think that was... starting to look to come down into the pit lane. I don't know if that was actually a move into pit lane itself, but their times were basically 32 mids, which is something to take a note of, as Bohlin and Tier are coming to the pit lane.
Now, did we find out ever what happened to... Yeah, as you're right, those guys coming in now. Did we ever get to the bottom of what happened to Marcus Stiller here, who's been in the pit lane for 5 minutes now? He's one of those playoff contenders. He's, we'll call him 14th in the points at the moment. 13 points ahead of Tier and 24 ahead of Uvinen, but he didn't score any stage points, so he lost 7 to Uvinen and lost 2 to Kenneth. Tier means he's only 17 points above the cut line at the moment, and he's currently been on pit lane for 5 minutes, down in 24th now. And there's Jonas Leppert, Thomas Cannell and Joel Bohlin still driving. In the next 4 minutes, if he doesn't get out, he would lose positions to those three and lose another 3 points. So I'm not sure what happened to Stiller. However, this is really costly as far as the championship goes to him, as Marcus Hagman comes in and leaves Dylan Platt, the only driver, now on the lead lap.
My guess, it might be one of those hits into turn number 3 and 1. Right at the curve, where I saw Stiller already having some hits, scraping the wall right there, and I think that was enough for him to trigger maybe a optional repair or something like that. Otherwise, the car would be undrivable when he came out with the new rubber.
Certainly got some sort of damage that you would expect. Eric Blicht, meanwhile, gets past Johannes Gunnarsson. That's for second place. Gunnarsson now is going to be dropping through the field with Bratberg just in behind him, although I suppose the two of them are in the same boat there. They've both been out there for a very long time now. This is what happened to Marcus Stiller. Yep, straight on at turn 3, hit the wall pretty hard, and that has done a lot of damage. If you compare it to the amount of contact that was made, that is a lot of damage.
No, absolutely. That tire's gonna scream a little bit. It's gonna struggle for grip. I know the damper is probably a little bit affected as well. Maybe the toe link too. So that should be enough to trigger about like 7 minutes of repairs into those NASCAR cars.
Dylan Platt's lost a lot of time on this lap. I wonder whether he's coming in. He's losing time on my timing screen. Anyway, has he had an incident or is he coming in? No, I think he just had a slow lap there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just his tyres that are going off at the moment. He has been up there for over 50 laps. If he goes another 15, he will be able to make it to the stage where he can make one more stop and make it home. So that's probably what he's hoping for here, to turn this effectively into just a 2-stop race, which is very possible. But he'd be the first driver effectively to pit in and make their final pit stop, if in the unlikely, relatively, occasion that this race goes green all the way home.
Yeah, like I said before, it would be a genius move. Of course, it's a little bit of an, I'm not going to say overkill of sorts, but you'll be overstretching your car a little bit more. See if you're going to be able to keep that clean for the remainder of your stint. As we're seeing Bratberg and Gunnarsson coming in, we're going to look at what happened to Helbro.
Hit by Uvinen too. That's Tony Uvinen, who is going for the playoffs here in the 84 car. Now, that was contact. He's still ninth, but he's made contact. Meanwhile, Dylan Platt's in. Wow, I'm not sure about this call for Dylan Platt.
wouldn't be surprised. I think that's as long as your car can run 53, 54, maybe 55 laps in here, depending on how hard you want to save your tires. But it should be really interesting, in my point of view.
I mean, he's only got one set of tyres left as well now, Dylan Platt. So he's got to time his last pit stop very, very well. And I personally think he should have gone at least to lap 85, because that would have made sure, or 87 or so, that would be pretty confident that he can make it home. As it is, he's coming after 54 laps of green flag racing. He's back out again, so Eric Blix will take back the lead again. Ahead of Edwin Forsund, who will be second. Jesper Eriksson will be coming up onto him here. Now, watch for the black Sim Race Sweden car in the background. See whether he gets through on Platt. Not quite. So Platt is going to be third, but he's going to struggle to make it home from here. He'll be kicking himself if this goes green right the way home. And even if there is a caution, when does he come in? Because he's only got one stop left where he's got tyres available.
Yeah, so I think his bat needs to be a complete green flag run from now on until the very end of the race, right? Because if that happens, I can tell you with some assurance right now, I think this point of the race, it might be his race to lose. Because everybody else is going to pit around, lap 100 and... lap 110? Sorts. He's pitting at 120. 120 or 130, so... It's something that is to think about. He's going to have 10 more laps of grip. It's going to be a little bit faster. The car looks clean, so he's the one to watch. And he's in third place, so keep an eye on him for the end of this race if it goes green all the way.
Absolutely. I'm just not quite sure about the call, to be honest, but there you go. I understand he was getting undercut quite heavily, and he might not go green to the end. That's a big cloud of smoke through turn 3 and 4. Who did that belong to? Somebody was trying to come in there. Joel Bohlin was trying to come into pit lane and wonder whether it belonged to him. Marcus Stiller's back out in 24th, by the way. He's 14 laps down and 7 minutes in the box. There he is. That's quite an extravagant pit entry, but well done. Good save. Oh no, he did spin.
Oh, no.
He was below the apron, so didn't cause a caution. We stay green.
At least he did a 360 nose pin on the apron, which add more style for him coming into the pit lane.
I certainly did.
Appreciate that. You gotta appreciate that.
Absolutely. Further down, by the way, didn't comment on this at the time, but Daniel Solo is in pit lane and has been for a long time, over half an hour now, after the incidents earlier in the day. I think he was involved in caution number 2, wasn't he? The one after where it all kicked off after Kinnell spun. Yeah, oh no, that was caution number 3, excuse me. So, he's still down on pit lane after that, by the way. And at the moment, only 27th in the points. Now, we always talk about winning you're in this series. That is true. However, Solon needs to finish in the top 30 in points as well. You can't just win from anywhere and get in the playoffs. You've got to be in the top 30. So, that means he's going to have to do some work now to gain back those points at Daytona and hope that some of those guys who are still in the race don't overtake him, like Jonas Skoglund as well as Dahlstrand, although he's already out, so that's going to be fine for him. Gunnarsson's still in the race, though. Bratberg is as well, and these are drivers who are all within his range points-wise. This is going to be a worrying race for Solo as we go back to Tony Ivinen here, who just passes Sebastian Tidemo up into 9th place, as Jesper Eriksson's the one again under pressure here.
Yeah, absolutely. Good racing in the mid-pack as it still goes on. I saw it, Ovinen, of course, still reeling post-crash that he had with Helmbro. Don't know if that actually affected the performance of his car as it goes on. But you can see he's still struggling to get around Ericsson despite the better tires.
Yeah, he is. Ericsson persisting well on the outside line. The difference this time around is that actually less of a gap between tyre life compared to what there was in the early part of the race. Through on the inside as well comes that's not Robert Eriksson, excuse me, that's another lap driver there. That's coming through. I thought it was Gunnarsson actually.
Oh yeah, it is it's Gunnarsson, you're correct.
Yeah, in the 33. Then Eriksson, Robert Eriksson that is, on the back of Jesper. Ericsson will move through into 9th place. Then queuing up Sebastian Tidemo. Then Kenneth Tears queuing up as well here. So Tier and Ubernen are taking advantage of Stiller being way down the field at the moment in a busy part of the racetrack. Look at this. This is lap 88, not lap number 8. Fantastic racing here at Darlington in the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan Oval Series. With 2 rounds to go, including this one, to the round of 15 and the all-important playoffs at the end of the season. Through 3 and 4 they come again. And these are the kinds of battles you've got to pick your way through here at Darlington. You've got to be good at sliding through the traffic at this venue.
Yeah, because it is so easy for you to get around and get yourself involved into contact. Like I said before, this kind of like drives like a death ball of sorts. So you have to be very accurate with your overtaking, and this is what makes a really good oval a mile driver. You know, a mile long driver than a what would be a super speedway specialist, right? Or a all-rounder, because you have your mile specialist, you have your super speedway specialist, and your all-rounder. So you want to be as all-round as possible, but a very good all-round for you to actually win this championship.
Absolutely. I mean, in the last 6 rounds of this championship, we've got super speedway at Daytona, short tracks at Dover and Richmond, 1.5 miles at Vegas and Michigan, and another short track, flat track at Phoenix at the end of the year as well. It's a very varying schedule towards the end. We have gone through our only road course of the season. That came back at Indianapolis, round number 6, as it really was a varying start to the season as far as tracks goes. Meanwhile, by the way, as we pass the 81st lap here tonight, we completed 3,500 kilometres in the season. It's a very, very long way indeed. I don't know what distance that is between. I should have picked up 2 cities in the world and shown that's how far it is, but anyway, never mind, I didn't do that. 3,500 kilometres complete so far in the season, and this is a very long green flag run now as well, of over 50 laps. The first time we've done more than 50 laps in a green flag run since the end of Charlotte Motor Speedway and the start of Nashville. Those two combined, those were both over 50 laps, but that was either side of the New Year Christmas break. It's been a very long time since we've seen a run quite like this, which is fantastic to see. But you said yellows breed yellows, Lorenzo. Once you get a green flag running, though, the opposite is true as well.
Yeah, it is. Darlington is also one of those tracks where if you go green for a good portion, I think it takes us a very weird yellow flag for it to come out, right? At a certain point of the race where you least expect it, right? As Bohlin, I think, just got overtaken by Daniel Homer, or trying to get around Daniel Homer, going to turn number 1. But one thing also I wanted to bring on, and I don't know if you've been noticing that the lead gap is actually shrinking quite a lot, and Porcelain is now being heavily pressured by Dylan Platt. Yeah, Dylan Platt is coming here. I still don't understand why he pitted when he did, but never mind. He's coming up onto the back of the green machine now. Edwin Forsen, the champion of the IndyCar Series. In case you've not been following the league, by the way, the Road Championship in the BMWs starts next week. So make sure you join us. Same time, same place. We'll have the opening round of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan Road Series for Series 2025. We have a long oval series, of course, that stretches from the end of August to the start of May. But in between that, we have a couple of road series, and Forsund was able to be part of one of them. Now then, I'm going to go quiet for a second here. Let's listen to Dylan Platt and his throttle inputs here at Darlington. Well, there you go, Lorenzo. There's your answer. And it is Dylan Platt, fuel saving, here just in behind
Edwin Forsand. Now, again, I don't really understand why he would do that, because he had the opportunity to come in late enough to make it comfortably on fuel, surely.
I think for him right now, with the green flag run, is the perfect strategy. You know, because you're noticing both of them are getting closer to Blitz. Blitz has more than 10 laps in terms of tires than Forsland. He has he has 20 laps in Platt. It's natural they're gonna reach him. So what's the point of you fighting your opponent this point of the race, where you're reaching nearly finishing the second third of the race, opening your final third, and you know, where you can get closer to the lead. You can see them nearly close to each other already, and you can definitely see maybe Platt going like maybe a lap or two extra.
Yeah, I don't understand the strategy, to be honest with you. I really don't. Meanwhile, oh, hello. Bohlin versus Homer. That was aggressive, down in towards turn 3. These two are pretty identical tyre lives, by the way, so they're sort of in each other's zone, and they don't really want to be at the moment. 100 laps come up onto the board, and Bohlin and Homer would really rather be on different strategies at the moment. 52 laps to go. Everybody can pit in to make it home from here, but who's going to blink first in terms of making that final green flag pit stop that most drivers are going to have to do?
Someone's got to blink, but they don't have to be concerned about the tires and anything at this point of the race. They can still drive on and know they're going to be making into one more set. So the thing is, can Bohlin get closer to Homer, despite Homer being 5 laps more in terms of oh no,
oh hello, caution flag flies, lap 101. We will get the replay up here for you in a couple of moments. Here we go. Jonas Skoglund off of turn number 2, looks down low on Janis Lepit. He clips the inside of the corner, he spins to the inside, he crashes into the outside wall. He's trying to get it under control, crashes again across the circuit. We've got a caution. We'll be back at Donington Raceway in a couple of moments time with a very important restart here in round 13 of the championship. Stay with us. welcome back to Darlington, where we have got just less than 50 laps still to go in the race for Örebro. We have seen green flag pit stops from nearly everybody on the lead lap, apart from Cedric Holmbob, Jonas Gunnarsson and Anton Brackberg, who are 3 of the 16 drivers still on the lead lap here in this race, with just 2 rounds to go, including this one until the playoffs. It really is time to go racing and time to go green again. Here at Darlington, Eric Blix leads the field away again, ahead of Edvin Forsen, then Dylan Platt on the inside, who did come in. And we believe, anyway, he's not got any tyres remaining down on pit lane. If he has got any, it will only be 2. He moves up to second place, and at Forsen, then Oliver Bohlin, who's just in alongside, can't quite do it. As the driver hits the outside wall in the background, we'll stay green as we get back underway again. This is a straight fight to the flag.
Pretty much, but it's a long fight to the flag, basically. We have less than 50 laps for you to do so. And to remind, this is a tire track. You really want to be going aggressive early out of the gates, where you still have to be considered. Okay, if this goes green, I still have about 40-something laps, 45, 47 laps going on. What should I do? P2.
Very, very interesting situation on the road. Still 16 drivers on the lead lap. 3 of them didn't take tyres. They've got tyres back for later, as have most drivers. Holmer there gets in the outside wall. Robert Eriksson will go past. Kenneth Tier will go past as well. He's up to 6th place now, with Tony Ivinen down in 10th. Stiller is only 3 laps away from getting another point and passing Jonas Skoglund, but still, he's going to be finishing 23rd. And they are the movers. Robert Eriksson inside the top 5 after qualifying outside the top 20.
And meanwhile, Eriksson's struggling to try to get around. He knows he needs the position, so he managed to get one on Uvinen. So what's next for him? We know he was really good out of the gate, but the thing is, can he compensate the fact that his mid-late stand is not being the best so far in this race?
There's so many different layers to this race at the moment. The longest green flag run since the first race since the new year. That was exactly 4 weeks ago. And now a run to the flag of what would be 47 laps if we go all the way. 48, excuse me, but nevertheless, you get the feeling there may be another twist in the tail. Eric Blix is leading, ahead of Edvin Forsen in second, then Dylan Platt, who is in 3rd place. Now, as far as the championship goes for Blix, he's only got 6 playoff points, which is why he currently starts playoffs in 6th place as things stand. Jesper Eriksson leading by a long way, but if Blix can get another race win, he'll just get that little bit closer to Eriksson and that little bit closer to locking himself into the round of 10.
Yeah, which is going to be vital, especially with the... We're going to look later in the schedule, but the schedule is going to be hectic for some of these guys, especially if they struggle on mile and a half tracks. So they're going to have to do their best to try to get around, especially on the playoffs where everything goes. So looking forward to see how this one's going to pan out. Meanwhile, Platt getting highly aggressively, yeah.
Into the outside wall. Yeah, Oliver Bohlin into the outside wall there as he now comes off the corner. Platt is really taking care of his tyres, because I think he knows he's only got these left, whereas those around him have probably got one more to go to if they want a late run here towards the checkered flag. There goes Bohlin right round the outside. Platt can't really do anything in this situation. He's just got to sort of hold back, take his medicine. He's just got to conserve his tyres best he can, but I'm not sure how he's going to manage this, really.
Yeah, I think for now, he's on survival mode for now. He knows that the things are not looking good for him. Everybody's on the same tire thread, so everybody's going to be able to push. You can see Robert Eriksson trying to look on the inside. He's not going to find the opening to go on Platt. But at the same time, I was looking into Wallen's exit of the turn 4 corner. He got a little bit loose. The rear got a little bit loose, but managed to keep the grip on the car. But every skid that you do on this car, especially on this track, which is abrasive, is enough for you to be, you know, oh, this is a yellow alert. I don't know if that's going to have a grip on, until the end of the stint, you know. So Platt might be playing smart over here. to maybe a potential late stint charge on everybody else.
Jonas Leppert has just gotten up to 24 because Skoglund is still on pit lane. Solo is still down on pit lane as well, by the way. It doesn't look like he's going to be getting back going again, and he's going to need a decent race at Daytona if he wants to compete for the playoffs. So Blix leads ahead of Forsund, 1 and 2, less than 40 laps to go, but these two are yet to really ignite this battle, to be honest. Blix is still holding on to the lead fairly comfortably. Forsund is looking to confirm his place in the round of 15 with a win. He's only a few points above the cut line going into today's race. It's only 22 above Tier, and another 11 ahead of Ubernen going into this race, but he did, of course, score 9 points at the stage. Now, if he can pass Blix here and lead a lap or two, then he'll get a couple of points for that, but he's not going to lead the most laps by the looks of things. That is going to go either the way of Blix or Ericsson, depending on which way it falls. Both of them have led quite a lot of laps, and Platt as well, actually, come to think of it. Meanwhile, this is Dylan Platt. He's at the front of this group now with Robert Ericsson and Kenneth Tier trying to get past him.
Yeah, if you cannot make the overtake, you're going to be hunted eventually. So he was struggling to get around Platt, shouldn't find the opening, but Tier, you know, trying to be a little bit more patient than what normally you have to be at this point of the race, and maybe let them to fight and try to find the opening eventually if both of them make a mistake and capitalize on it. Meanwhile, I know the gap between the lead is coming down, but Bohlin is driving the car like a madman, and he's trying to become the third leg of this, what is for now a two-way fight for the lead.
Yeah, he gained a 10th last time round. And he's continuing to close. Now traffic again for Blix already. Oh, and someone in the outside wall immediately. Blix has to turn low to just avoid him here. Forsund will close up to him over the line here. But look at what's up ahead here. This is disastrous. Most of these lap drivers took the wave around last time because most of the lead lap drivers stayed out. And so they're on old tyres hoping for a quick caution, which hasn't come. And so they've been caught really quickly.
Yeah, I think the one that was a little bit squirrely on the wall might have been Canal. Meanwhile, Ericsson, the yellow flag.
Oh, wow. Robert Ericsson. Ericsson brings out the yellow after just 13 laps since the last one. It is Robert Ericsson who is dropping down the field, unsure as to whether it is actually him who has brought out the caution or not, but I'm going to presume that it is. Now then, what does everybody do here? The lap times were already nearly a second off of their best. Then, oh, he just hits the outside wall initially. Then he gets hit. Just Thomas Canal. Oh, and smashed into by Ericsson. So Jonas Leppert is the first driver to hit him. Then Ericsson comes through and absolutely smashes him. He's going to have a lot of damage there.
Yeah, you could argue, I think this part of the race would be terminal damage, but you still have to do enough for you to get around at the exit and get away to the end of the race. What a hit.
Yeah, really big bit of contact there, which is a shame. Got involved in the opening caution at Talladega for the first time this season when he got caught up for the first time. Robert Ericsson, as into the pit lane comes quite a few drivers. Now, what's the thinking behind this? Over 30 laps to go and using their last set of tyres in many cases.
I would say maybe right-hand side might be a risk for some of these guys.
Why are they coming in at all? Is my
okay.
my concern here. 4 tyres for Blix, 4 tyres for Forsland. Kenneth Tier as well. Helmbro. Hagman, although he seems to have damage, he's in for a bit longer. Yeah, I don't understand this, to be honest. I don't quite know why the top 7, or the outside the top 7, I should say, came in for 4 tyres there. That's a long way to go, presuming there's not going to be another yellow flag.
I don't think I would be overly surprised to see some of these guys, you know, taking this ladder risk, you know, ladder race risk, because, you know, it's every point for every man for itself. Some of them might need the points. So all for nothing risk. You still have one more tire set left, but of course you have to be sure that at this point forward you need green flag runs all the way until the end to basically overtake everybody else with 17 tires. That starts around Oliver Bohlin and ends at Jasper Ericsson. So top 7 are going to be in a world of pain in a little bit once we get to green flag. But the question is, are we going to get that yellow breed yellow race from moving on right now?
Well, exactly, yeah. I suspect that we might do, to be honest. However, it is just impossible to tell at the moment. The drivers are forming up 2 by 2 once again here at the start of another restart here. That was caution number 5, by the way, of the race. Will that be the final one of the day? We had 13 at New Hampshire, so you never ever know quite how many we're going to get. We should be good for time, even if we do get another few cautions. Only 30 seconds a lap here or so, so actually only realistically about 15 minutes of driving to go. It'd be impressive if the timer runs out in that amount of time, but we will hope and wait and see. Out of the final corner comes Oliver Bohlin, who's in control of the field this time. Waits for a bit and then hits the gas, and with green flags waving once again. Dylan Platt not really going anywhere here with Daniel Holmer alongside him. He's going to be under pressure. Well, he'll be on the outside, so he should hang on to second ahead of Daniel Holmer, then Lucas Holmgren, and then Tidemo versus Ericsson. Jesper Ericsson moving through on the inside line. He's made good progress. And then come those on new tyres who are weaving around all over the place, trying to find some track space. It's Forza versus Blix into turn 3.
And Blix managed to get away with nearly a 3 wide foreman at the back behind him. And this started early on, really good for those, especially Blix, which is the first guy would be on the new tires, but actually Forsland is the guy on new tires, which going for 4th place right now.
Through turn 1 and 2 they go. Forsland is already up to 4th place. Look at how much quicker they are, even though the last run was only 13 laps. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Forsland down the inside now of Holmer, and he goes through into 3rd place. Up to 4th goes Eric Blix. This is remarkable stuff. Absolutely remarkable. And now those who stayed out during this last caution are hoping for another one in about another 10 laps time.
10 laps? Let's say they want. I think at this point of the race they want it now. So.
Well, but there's no benefit if they came into new tyres now. There's no benefit over Forsland and Blix. They're going to want to wait for these tyres to fall off for these two,
true. Surely.
True.
Oh, contact. I thought you meant to say about Platt actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Surely for everybody else, they're going to want to just take the edge off these tyres for Forsland and Blix, maybe 10 laps or so, but then come in. Unfortunately for Platt, he is going to get back to the front again when everybody else comes in, but I don't know if he's got any tyres left. If he has got some left, it'll only be 2. He certainly came in under one of those early cautions. That's why he was so quick out the blocks during that long green flag run of 73 laps. As Edwin Forsland gets back to the lead again, and he leads his first laps here tonight. There's another 2 points for Edwin Forsland in his quest for the playoffs here this season.
Yeah, and we eventually knew that Forsland was going to lead this race on how well he was doing before the second to last yellow flag that we had going on earlier on. He was actually closing on Blix, but now the way this is going with the new rubber and everything else, I think his mission right now is only one break away from Blix to hope for no yellow flags and then come away with a victory. But that mid-pack going from 8th place all the way back looks to be more feisty than normal.
Jesper Ericsson through into 7th place and then everybody trying to take it off him. Here is Kenneth Tier, who is the one straight behind him here. Tier's on new tyres, don't forget here, so he needs to make some ground and hope there's no caution late on. Tony Uvenen, in contrast, didn't come in that time round. Marcus Stiller is still down in 23rd, but he's going to overtake Robert Ericsson here in 4 laps time. So that'll be 22nd place for Stiller. Side by side over the line. There goes Kenneth Tier. A very important pass made by the driver of the 49. Now he's got to get his eyes forward and try and get up the order even further here.
Yeah, gap that Tier has to Lucas Holmgren right now is 1.2 seconds. It's doable, especially with a tire age gap. So we definitely can see Tier maybe fighting his way into the top 5 most definitely.
Ooh, bit of side by side and a bit of contact there for 11th place. as Bratberg and Tinnamo fight it out. Bratberg's up 11 places now with this move down the inside for the triple. So that is 11th now for him. Bratberg came in last time round under the previous caution. Oh, and Tinnamo there just finds the outside wall. So Peter Halbro will come through. Tony Evening will try and do the same, and then that's it for your lead lap. That's your 14 drivers on the lead lap. Through goes Hagman on the outside line now on Jesper Eriksson. 23 to go. So any time from now, it's a good time for those who didn't pit under the previous caution to see one fly. Here, maybe with 10-15 laps to go, just give them enough time to try and come back through again as well. They are absolutely banking on there being another one here.
Yeah, that's where the dreams lie, of course. And if you got a yellow flag, I think this dynamic of the race shifts with 22 to go.
Both groups here have taken big risks, one of which is there's not going to be another caution this afternoon. The other have risked that there will be. Classic end to this race here with 22 to go, with playoff implications as well. Big implications for a lot of these drivers as far as their aspirations for the season go. There are quite a few drivers fighting over not enough places inside the playoffs at the moment. Sebastian Tinnamo, by the way, is one of those drivers who needs a big day today to even stay in contention on points. Otherwise, he'll be going win or bust next week, or in 2 weeks, I should say, at Daytona. Through 1 and 2, they go again. Eriksson now outside of the top 10. He knows he's already making the playoffs, but is he going to see some of his rivals gaining points? Here comes Kenneth Tier down the inside of Platt there. That was big aggression, and Holmer's on the outside of him now. That was not a good move here for Kenneth Tier. He was trying to get past Dylan Platt. It's not worked, and it's cost him 2 places.
Somehow managed to get away with everything, and Platt's aggressiveness, defense right there, I think that was something to be noted of. I really want to look down on the replay, but cannot take away the fact that Tier has better tires than these guys, and it still has the tire advantage and grip advantage over all these three guys up in the front within the top 5.
Tier needs every point he can possibly get, and the problem with that is that he's just fallen back past a couple of drivers who he'd passed on older tyres and worked pretty hard to get there as well. He's just seen that completely undone here. Now then, into the slipstream he goes of Lucas Holmerin. Oh, and he gets into the back of him there. He just got into the back of the 021. And they get away with it, thankfully, but Kenneth Tier there just got into the back of Holmerin, who hangs on, thankfully. But there's a warning sign for Tier. That is the difference in terms of tyre life. A big difference it is as well between the tyre life of these two groups of drivers.
Yeah, and the Platt is also talking about tyre life. Platt, I think.
Oh! Whoa! Helmbro and Bratberg make contact in the background. Somehow they hang on to it and we stay green.
Ooh-wee.
Bratberg was the one closest to spinning, as he was right into the outside wall with Helmbro squashing him there. Oh, well, he gets into it himself, actually, I should say. He sort of bounces straight back into Helmbro.
That wall, man, at that side turn number 2, I tell you, it's something else. It comes you out of nowhere, and you're not all the time ready for it. I think he gets into contact again at the exit at turn number 2.
It is a very difficult track. For anyone that says all ovals are the same, it's just going around in circles. Show them Darlington. It is very, very tricky indeed, this track. So you feel very claustrophobic on the exit of turn 2. It's really comes out at you, that wall. And then through 4, feels like you've got all the space in the world, but you do have to stay as close to the wall as possible, which comes with its own peril as well. Here comes Magnus Hagman down the inside of Lucas Holmerin. Hagman is also on new tyres, along with Jonas Gunnarsson and Peter Helmbro and Anton Bratberg, who are all now in the top 11. So these guys are on slightly newer tyres and they are coming for these positions. Here comes Holmer on Platt, though. These two are on the same tyre life. Oh, and he gets into the outside wall there, Platt. Now he could be in trouble. Here comes Kenneth Tier as the battle for the lead carries on as well. Forsen defending from Blix. Tier is trying to get onto Holmer here, and Dylan Platt has gone down the field. He has hit the wall through turn 2.
And I think his car is broken. My trigger yellow flag the way is actually being very slow.
Oh, wow! If not, then this might do. Eric Blix versus Edvin Forsen for the lead here. Two drivers on new tyres, hoping that it doesn't bring out another yellow flag. Right now, they might be the cause of the yellow flag, and there is one with 14 to go.
And we know where that yellow flag is, turn number 3.
This is Platt versus Homer. So this is how it all started, but I don't think this is what the caution was for. Platt here gets a bit loose, smacks the outside wall, and everybody able to get past him. I don't think that's what the caution is for, though.
Ovinen car's engine is broken.
Yeah, he's smoking. Oh, he was hit by... And Ovinen smacks the wall. That is huge for the playoff standings. He started the day just 11 behind Kenneth Tier. As they were running with points already gained, he was only 6 points behind Kenneth Tier. But now he's got no engine, and he's going to lose heaps of places at the end here.
Not only that, but he got caught out by Platt. I think Platt got into contact with someone, and that was a collateral. Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Wow,
that is huge for the championship and a real shame for Uvinen. So now it's role reversal. Everybody who didn't come in last time round is going to come in this time, and vice versa. So into the pit lane comes Oliver Wallin, Daniel Homer, Lucas Holmgren, Ante Bratberg, Jesper Eriksson, Tony Uvinen, obviously, as a result of the damage, Cedric Holmbom as well. Although those two actually dropped off the lead lap. There's only 11 on the lead lap now, and the bottom 5 of them have all come into pit lane. Can any of those drivers race their way through the field here with about 10 to go and take the race win away?
It's doable. I'm just going to say the first one that comes out is going to be the favorite. Easily.
Who comes out first then? Ericsson has to go to the end of the lane to get his car stopped, of course. Already, Holmgren is going already. Now Daniel Homer is out already. Then followed by Lucas Holmgren. Then it's Jesper Eriksson. Then Oliver Wallin. So it's Daniel Homer who's in the prime position.
Yeah, the thing is right now, at this point of the race, the one thing that right now Homer cannot think about is getting boxed in. Kind of like what happened to Platt at the restart, because at the restart, Platt got boxed in of sorts. He got caught off by the restart, and that's where his downfall started to kind of like go on as the green flag stint went on. Now the question is, I think at this point, Forsland has to stay as late as possible to try to trigger the yellow flag, but at a certain point that, let's just say, would catch everybody else, but would say 1-2 laps by, you know, surprise, so he can actually breathe a little bit some air, as I think they're going to go about 10 to go over here in this race. Yep,
it will indeed be 10 to go, and a very, very exciting prospect indeed. Holmgren, Homer, Wallin, Eriksson, Bratberg on the new tyres. The top 6, Forsund, Blix, Tier, Hagman, Gunnarsson and Helmbro, all on relatively older tyres. They've done about 17 laps of green flag running, 22 overall, and they have got to try and hang on. And what's going to happen between Forsund and Blix? They've been fighting it out for the race win all day long. Out of the final corner, the race for Örebro reaching its exciting conclusion here at Darlington. 333 kilometres coming towards their close as Edvin Forsen takes the lead in towards turn 1. It's a good start from him. Kenneth Tier looks up the inside. He can't go for it though. He backs out of it. Here come the new tyre runners. Here comes Eric Blix on the outside through turn 1 and 2 here. He's going to be cramped a little bit on the exit. They're not quite going to get through there. Off in the background. Helmbro there just trying to get through. He's boxed in as well. Dan Holmer gets past Peter Helmbro though, and so does Jesper Eriksson. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead again. Blix looks on the outside again. Can't do it for the moment with 9 laps still to go.
And you can see those with new tires got a little bit boxed in by like, let's just say, Hagman and everybody else has got heats up once again.
Blix so close to the wall. Forsen pushing him all the way. Off of turn 2. Oh, there's contact again. A big slide for Forsen. He's still there, though. He's still on the inside line. Here comes Teniftier as off in the background there. That looked like Ericsson maybe getting into the outside wall. Not sure for the moment. Oh, and there is contact. There is contact. There's a big slide for Jesper Ericsson, who's been dumped by Oliver Wallin, who's coming through to 6th place.
Are we gonna finish in this green flag run? I'm betting you. I think we still have one more yellow flag over here with the way the attrition rate is going.
It's not a bad shout. Here comes Homer, meanwhile, on Gunnarsson on the outside line. Homer moves up to 4th and Wallin moves up to 5th. It's Homer and Wallin who are coming through on the newer tyres best right now. 7 to go. Kenneth Tears looking for a race win now as well. This would see him guaranteed in the playoffs in the same way it would for Forsland. They're in the outside wall, though. They've got to be careful here. Wallin's coming down the inside. Here come the new tyre runners, and it looks like they do have enough time to manage this. Holmgren goes right to the inside line in the lime green. Kenneth Tears going backwards here.
Overcommitment to the tires, and that's one case we saw Forsland. He's limping. Wallin to 2nd, and 4-10 separate him from Blix. This is doable.
Absolutely doable. Oliver Wallin already has 1 race win this season. If he could make it 2, he would be 2nd going into the round of 15 in terms of playoff points. That would be big for him. Now then, Tier losing out again, but here's the battle for the lead. Wallin down the inside of Eric Blix. With 6 laps to go, it's going to be 5 at the line, and Oliver Wallin is leading comfortably now at Darlington.
Last lap, 30 point. Last lap was nearly the best lap of the race so far. Or personally for Wallin, 30.179, where Blix did a 30.9. So the gaps, you can see how well they're doing with new tires with this restart. And I think right now, Wallin is not going to look back at all.
No. Tier, by the way, still gaining a lot of points on his championship rivals. Uvenin is out for the day. He's going to finish a long way down. Moka still has a chance to get into the top 20, by the way, still racing. So he's going to lose at least 10 to Kenneth Tier, and he's going to perhaps even drop behind him here at the end of the day, but he is going to gain on Uvenin by the looks of things and stay about 20 points ahead of him heading into Daytona. Meanwhile, here is Kenneth Tier. He's on the outside line of Evan Forsen here, battling for... Oh, and there's contact nearly there. Bradberg gets into the back of Tier. He's actually pushing Tier alongside Forsen here. These two both fighting for points. They're looking to race their way into the playoffs on points now with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and not only that, Blix just got overtaken by Homer at the entry of the lap, and he might actually fall out of the podium with Homer with better tires. Yeah,
looks like it. Looks like Holmgren's going to have enough time here to manage this. Jesper Ericsson's recovered at least to a top 5 position. It's going to be another comfortable day for him, and it's going to be a ceiling of the regular season championship as well, by the way, with Linus Brostam still only 12th. He's had a pretty miserable afternoon, but he's only 1 position ahead of Alexander Aronson, and so he's not going to be able to secure the championship at 2nd place just yet. He's going to have to leave that until Daytona. Out of turn 2 comes Bratberg. He's going to be down the inside of Forza now. We're going to get the white flag next time by.
What a race, man. If there's one thing I love about Darlington is this tire strategy race and a very mental race of sorts. It never falls short of being, you know, I'm gonna say dull. That's the best way for us to call it. This is always like an exciting race.
Through the final lap we come. Oliver Wallin with a 2nd race victory of the season. 2.5 seconds is gap at the line. The winner of the race for Örebro here at Darlington is Oliver Wallin with his 2nd win of the season. He slides his way over the line, and he will go into the playoffs knowing he is one of those favourites to get into not only the round of 10, but maybe the championship 5 as well. It is Homer and Holmgren who joined him in the top 3. Jesper Ericsson passed Eric Blicht on the line as well at the end. Those who pitted under the 2nd last caution ended up being, at best, 5th position.
Like I said, what a race, man. And Bohlin had its moments. A moment had it like a near death moment earlier on in the race. Sometimes we could have counted him out, and then just like a phoenix rose up and eventually took the reins of this race and won it with the new tire strategy laid on. Fantastic race from him, and it is a second race victory of the season for Oliver Bohlin in a Mustang 1, 2, 3, 4. Daniel Holmer, Lucas Holmgren and Jesper Eriksson joining him also on the new tyres 1, 2, 3, 4. Then Eric Blix, the first of those on older tyres. Then Kenneth Teer, who is 6th place and has put himself right into the position to make it through into the playoffs on points. Anton Brackberg finishes 7th, and Marcus Hagman with Edvin Forsund and Jonas Gunnarsson rounding out the top 10. Peter Elbro finishes 11th ahead of Linus Broström, who did end up on the lead lap in the end, but he does now lose officially the regular season championship. He'll have to go to next week, though, to secure second, because Alexander Aronson was only 1 position behind him. Oscar Motin finished 3 laps down with Hakan Schott and Cedric Holmbom, who loses a bit of ground in the playoff points situation as well, although he does gain on some of the others. Oscar Fredriksson finishes 4 laps down. Tony Evelyn and Dylan Platt retired after their crash. Then it was Sebastian Tidemo rounding out the top 20. Marcus Tiller finished 21st in the end, decent points considering. Patrick Pfeffer was 17 down after, alongside Joe Bohlin, I should say. Robert Eriksson finished 34 down, with Thomas Cannell, who got caught up in a couple of cautions throughout that race. So did Janis Leppert, finishing 50 down. Jonas Skoglund, Bjorn Broström, Daniel Soto, Dan Papels and Christopher Dahlstrand at the very end of the field didn't finish the race on the road, at least. There's a lot of drivers to have a chat to here, so let's start with the race winner, shall we? Oliver Bohlin, who can now join us. Welcome in, Oliver. Congratulations on the win. I mean, that was a crazy final run. You made the right call, though, on the strategy. What was your thinking with about 50 laps to go when the penultimate caution came out and you decided eventually to stay out?
Yeah, thank you. That was just mostly just guesswork, or that it wouldn't be the final caution, but yeah, was lucky that one more caution came out and could take advantage of the tires there in the end. Yeah.
I mean, how does it? Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry.
How does it make you feel going into the playoffs now? We're only a few weeks away from them starting, and you're now the only one of 2 drivers to have got more than 1 win.
Yeah, this win was actually really important to get those extra bonus points going into the playoffs, because I will miss the first round of the playoffs, so every bonus point matters for me. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you've managed to secure a few more of those here tonight. Congratulations on the win, Oliver, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Oliver Bohlin there, the second place driver, the winner, I should say, tonight. What do you think about Daniel Holmer, who was the second place driver here tonight, and he can now come to chat with us as well, the race winner from all that time ago in Bristol. Welcome in, Daniel, good to have you with us. Second place for you in the end. You were beaten by Oliver, who was on the same strategy as you as well. Does that make you a bit disappointed you weren't battling for the win at the end?
No, I'm happy. I'm mega happy.
Well, as you should be as well. You're in the playoffs as well, of course. That'll put you a bit further up the point standings as well. Just how important is it to build up some momentum now going into this week, Daytona, and then, of course, the playoffs coming up after that?
It's pretty important for us as a team. We're fighting for the top spots in the team championship, so yeah, me and Jesper are in the same team, P2, P4. Yeah.
Good day for you. As far as the teams goes, that's for sure, with the both of you up inside the top 5. Congratulations on that. Thanks for coming to chat to us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Daniel Holmer there in second place. Third place was Lucas Holmgren on only his second start of the season. Welcome in, Lucas. Congratulations on finishing 13 places higher than where you started, and in third place as well. Are you surprised by that, or was that expected?
Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise, I must admit. This is my second start of the season, and I haven't done that much practice, but I like the track. I always thought that this track is kind of fun, so I was hoping for a bit higher, but not as much as hoping for a top 10.
Well, absolutely. And what's your plan for the rest of the season? Are we going to be seeing more of you towards the last rounds?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do a few more races. My time schedule has opened up a bit more, so I'm gonna try to do a few more.
Right, well,
Let's see which ones it are.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you at those. Congratulations on finishing 3rd place here tonight, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks very much. That is Lucas Holmgren, who finished in 3rd place. A couple more drivers are currently waiting for us as well, so we'll have a quick chat with them as well. Evan Folsom finished 9th here tonight, and we can chat to him too. Welcome in, Evan. 9th place for you, just on the wrong tyres at the wrong towards the end. Just tell us how you feel after that one.
Yeah, it's a painful one. After the contact that I had with Eric, I don't think I would have won anyway, because my car was pretty much undrivable in the rear end after that. But yeah, just unlucky. Maybe I could have at least got on the podium, the 2nd place, but it is what it is. That's racing. I'm not used to being up here yet in oval, so yeah, it's definitely fun. Did not expect to be fast at all tonight at this track, after how it felt earlier in the week when I practiced. So, but yeah, it was a really fun race, and those final laps up until the final yellow flag were really fun. Just having Eric chase me down and me just making some mistakes, but managing to keep in front of him, and yeah, we had that little contact, which was unfortunate. So we overall a really fun race, and it's I'm definitely looking forward to Daytona next.
Yes, we're very much looking forward to it as well, that's for sure. How confident are you that you're going to make it into the playoffs after tonight and going into Daytona? Because I'm not sure exactly what the gap is, but you're relatively comfortable, but I think it is mathematically not quite secure yet. How are you feeling about it going into Daytona?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping to get the wins to secure my spot tonight, but that didn't happen. But yeah, no, I have a great team. We're gonna do some good practice for Daytona, so yeah, I definitely think I'll or I'm not gonna say too much, but I'm fairly certain that I will make it into the playoffs unless I really mess up in the final race, so or get involved in something unlucky, or car spinning in front of me or whatever. But either way, that's racing, and I'm just here to compete, so I'll do my best. Can't do more than that, really.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for coming to chat to us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much. Evan Folsom there in 9th place here today. Now, as we mentioned, the regular season championship has been wrapped up tonight by Jesper Eriksson, so we'll have a quick chat with him too, because he's secured an extra 15 playoff points for himself. Congratulations on that, Jesper, and a very eventful race, to be honest with you. I think even your wins were less eventful, actually, than the race you had here today. I don't know if you'll agree or not, but let's just chat about the regular season championship first of all, before we get into the race. 15 extra playoff points for you secured here tonight. How are you feeling about that?
It feels awesome, to be honest. Clinching the one thing, I think it's my 3rd time in a row clinching the regular, so quite a big momentum into the playoffs, and I'm happy. As you said, quite an eventful race, even though I didn't get the win, so quite chaotic, quite disappointed, but oh well, it was fun. P4.
Yeah, you were in contact with multiple drivers at some point on the wall. Tell us a little bit about how all that happened and how the race went.
Well, first of all, it's a really difficult track, and especially going side by side, but me and Peter made some contacts quite early into turn 1, and then I had quite big damage to my right front, and I was basically so slow. I was basically a train on the track with all the people behind me, but oh well. Made some more contact, made some more friends or enemies, I don't know. We'll see it at Daytona, but it was fun. It was definitely fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun to watch as well. Congratulations on seeing the regular season championship, Jesper, and we look forward to seeing you at Daytona.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jesper Eriksson there in the regular season championship winning mode. Now, an oversight from me was that Linus Broström actually secured 2nd place and another 10 playoff points for himself as well. So we'll have a quick chat with him to end the broadcast as well. Welcome in, Linus. I'm not sure if you were waiting to come and chat with us or not, but I've made you do it anyway. Congratulations on finishing 2nd in the regular season, despite what I would describe for yourself as maybe a bit of a miserable evening. And tell us how you're feeling at the end of it.
Well, I would wish to race a bit more. I mean, I hate this track with all my heart, so I don't even know why I put it on the schedule. But people want to race it, and I let them do it. So, and we got a good race up front, I think. So I'm happy about that. And well, I had a different strategy. I knew if I'm going to get a result here, I'm going to need to try something different. And I was back in traffic on that restart. I'm not really sure what happened. Someone just parked. And everyone piled in, and I had damage from that point on. So to salvage a P12 from that is still all right. I think we're still going to gain points in the team's championship as well. And that's the only reason I'm racing now, because I knew I wasn't going to catch Jesper, and I was basically secure for P2 already. So yeah, finishing P2 in the regular season is still great. Gives me some bonus points going into the playoffs. So I don't have to worry at all about Daytona, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah, well, apart from the teams, as you say, how are you going to balance that sort of personal ambition? Of course, you'll want to win the playoffs and indeed the championship for yourself, with also the team's ambitions as well, because you have got a few drivers who will be going for the drivers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously, the main goal for Daytona is going to be to get myself the win and get another 5 points for the playoffs. But if I have a chance to help one of my teammates who are further down in the standings to win that race, that's obviously what my goal is going to be, or what I'm going to try and achieve, to get another Brady sports car in the playoffs. So, but it all depends. It's there's a lot of good drivers, a lot of good super speedway drivers. So it's you're not going to be able to make up a plan beforehand. You're just going to have to go along and see who's alive with 5 laps to go and do the best you can from there.
Well, we look forward to it. And 2 weeks' time, of course. Linus, thanks very much for coming to chat to us, and congratulations on another 10 playoff points secured tonight.
Thank you.
That's Linus Broderstrom, second place in the regular season, 12th place here tonight. Well, Lorenzo, that was a very fun evening of racing indeed, I've got to say, here at Darlington. Very, very difficult, as expected, but a mixture of long green flag runs and some very short ones as well, as a great finish too.
It's a great run, Darlington. I think it's never a dull race at Darlington. The strategies make this race very enticing. I think the not going to say aggressiveness, but the willingness of drivers to try to go side by side and commit until the end of the race, try to get as most points as they can towards the end of the regular season was really good to watch. Bohlin with a great strategy. What he said is a guess, but it was a good guess as any, if you really want to call it that. And can't wait to see what Daytona is going to bring. You never know who's going to win. Everybody has a chance from first to last. So, and he closes out the regular season. What a better way to close out the regular season, as you can see that on screen.
And there it is, Daytona International Speedway. The high banks in Florida going to decide who is in the championship or not. The playoffs, the round of 15 that will begin on the 13th of March here on RaceSpotTV with Vegas. But 400 kilometers in 2 weeks' time at Daytona, so make sure you join us for that. We're not back next week with the Road Series, but in 2 weeks after that with the start of the Road Series at the start of March, so make sure you come back in 2 weeks' time, same place, for the final round of the regular season. It's Oliver Wallin's day in Darlington here tonight, as he gains himself some more playoff points and puts himself into that conversation perhaps for a championship in 2025. We look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks' time on the high banks of Daytona. I've been Johan O'Leary alongside Lorenzo Bonda, and Hugo Luis has been behind the cameras. It's goodbye from Darlington, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Daytona.